This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and I am Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm ready to present for you yesterday's latest in information for politics, current events, and pop culture. You will get from us, your go-to supplemental source, both some mainstream and unconventional news and some real unconventional news today that you might have missed in your daily travels, but a little extra context to add it to all of it. We have 8 stories for the day, and even if you can't really make them out, the teaser graphic in the video is Joe Biden. We'll talk about him and some other things, 7 other things to be exact, that were vetted by you as conversational, then curated for this morning newscast. Morning because I'm doing it live 5:50 a.m., but whenever you're checking out, it's the day of, so congratulations for being with us. We thank you so much for being with us. Check out our website. This is theconversationproject.com for more details on how we do this, something like this, every single day, literally every single day. Today happens to be Thursday, November the 2nd, 2023. Let's get into the news headlines for this morning. Starting off with the first big headline, because we care what Cardi B thinks about a lot of things, so we care what she says about the Atlanta food scene. There's a controversy about the food scene in Atlanta. There's a big deal going on after a food blogger basically says the Atlanta food scene isn't all that great, that being Keith Lee. Now, Cardi B also criticized the Atlanta restaurants on Instagram Live, saying that they don't make a lot of money and they don't like their customers, or they don't like to make money, don't like their customers. There seems to be sort of busyness as she goes deeper into detail of Atlanta, where if you're so stuck in the busy sections, you can't get stuff done. This is something I see personally when I'm working on stuff and I'm kind of in the squad, if you will, sort of in the trenches getting stuff done, and you just don't want to deal with the customers, even though the customers are paying you to do stuff. So being good at what you do, making good food, doesn't really excuse not being really great at serving your customers. And there's curse words in it as well, so because she's Cardi B. Curse words in this, as well as Elon Musk unleashes a fiery Joe Rogan podcast again. Says he bought Twitter because it was being controlled by the far left and warns of a woke mind virus. Both those things in quotes somewhere. We pulled this from UK Daily News, and I don't know if this episode has dropped yet. I'm pretty sure it has if they're reporting on it. But I'm not a big so much fan of Joe Rogan. I'm not fighting the game. I know he's the biggest guy in the world, and I wish I had his popularity. But I'm not a big fan of the show itself, so I don't watch it very much. I see the clips when big people show up. I'll see clips of this eventually, but Rogan going off on the woke mind virus, not his first time saying that, and saying he bought Twitter because of his control by the far left, which is not the first time he said that about that. Of course, bossing out statements about George Soros, claiming that he hates humanity. Said that before as well. How the erosion of civilization is coming about, and just general Trump stuff. That was a Freudian slip. General Elon Musk stuff. Now, I'm assuming this time he didn't smoke a blunt with Joe Rogan or anything silly like that. But we'll see how this thing plays out, as Elon Musk is trying to save us from everything. Although, as past billionaires have done that, they've usually done it in a more benevolent way and not so much of a evil genius way. But he's an evil genius, so there you go. He's Iron Man or something like that. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi is subpoenaed in a criminal case. Yes, she was subpoenaed in a California criminal case on yesterday. Her husband, Paul, was attacked in his house on October 22nd and October of 2022, I should say. And yes, that's the case she's being subpoenaed in, not for someone else's case, the case with her husband. The U.S. Speaker, U.S. Representative and Speaker Emerita, put some respect on her name, for the 11th Congressional District of California, served third-party subpoenas in a criminal case. So she's essentially testifying for the other side, or a third party, essentially to put some color into what's going on. We will see how this plays out, as I'm pretty sure she's not going to say that her husband asked for it. Pretty sure that's not coming down in testimony. Meanwhile, George Soros crowns himself king in a tweet after surviving an expulsion vote. Words aren't coming so well, they say. Long night last night. Apologies for that. So let's sort of do this on this. This is kind of important, actually. An expulsion vote voted once again, or chance to vote again, out of Congress. This time not headed by Democrats who just think he's creepy. This time headed by Republicans from New York who think he's creepy. He celebrated the vote with a string of things on Twitter/X that were kind of weird and freaky. Because George Santos. He also did his press conference where he said, this was a win for the process because the process worked out in his favor, and he's not going to explain in the media why he's not going to resign because he did bad things. Because he's George Santos. Meanwhile, what you've been waiting for? Joe Biden. Joe Biden calls for a pause in the Israel-Gaza conflict to get hostages out. This happened. This he's said this more or less in bigger words and bigger statements. This pause statement came out at a fundraiser last night where President Joe Biden called for the pause when asked by essentially a heckler. Someone out in the crowd just threw out this question, a protester, if you will, saying that you need to ask for a ceasefire right now. And then he went into detail about the pause for the Israel-Gaza conflict, suggesting it should allow the release of hostages. The White House later clarified that Biden was referring to a humanitarian pause, not just a actual pause as a ceasefire. The word ceasefire very much not in Biden's mouth because no one is trying to tell the Israelis they should stop shooting at the Hamas people who are shooting at them. That's not what's being said. But a lot of people are pushing for some sort of pause, some sort of time frame, some sort of opening to let hostages out, to let humanitarian aid in, and so that people who are the sufferers in this, people who are literally caught in the middle of the gunfire, can be saved. Fox News dominates cable news for October with Israeli-Hamas coverage, but MSNBC and CNN both gain over year. So this comes from Mediaite, who actually does the job to sort of actually keep an eye on and rate the media. Good for them. Fox News extended its 33-month winning streak in October, averaging 1.36 million total day viewers and 2.12 million primetime viewers. MSNBC saw a 19% year-over-year increase, and CNN got a 12% increase. 5 was the most watched show in both total viewers and demo, while Nicole Wallace and Anderson Cooper were the top rated hosts on MSNBC and CNN respectively, which is essentially how things go. It's like the 5 and I think Nicole Wallace are more or less in that same time frame, so you can kind of see them back to back in a sense. The 5 is the big show for the late day for people to kind of get their news and commentary. Also, Nicole Wallace is pretty much a firebrand. I'm not a big fan of her, so she's a big firebrand and brings a lot of people onto the show. And Anderson Cooper, who I've been following for years, and I'm sucked into watching Anderson. Although watching Chris Cuomo on News Nation, to be honest, is kind of taking half my time now. What we do know about the coverage of the conflict is CNN went all in and sent anchors there to report live from the live, and other folks sent a lot of bigger news folks who keep up with things from the sidelines, but because of the demo of people who watch the news on TV, and it's older people who don't give up on streaming stuff and don't get into the clips that you see on the clip things, Fox News skews older, and it will probably dominate for quite some time, unless one of those upstarts pulls away some viewers. Let's go to this story here. Simon and Schuster sale of K to KKR officially completed. This is the official sale of the book publisher Simon & Schuster to KKR. $1.62 billion is done, completed on Monday. There are some concerns surrounding the ethicality of KKR, which is involved in the bankruptcy of Toys R Us and a crisis in living facilities. So is this good for books and Simon & Schuster? We shall see. But it's good for somebody who made some money off it, definitely. But we'll see if it's good for the land of book publishers going forward. And a new study coming out that says that being alone does not closely correlate with feelings of loneliness. Something I have said honestly all the time. Just because you're lonely doesn't mean you're actually alone. Just because you maybe feel around lots of other folks, but it's not the fact that you're alone that makes you lonely. It's the feelings inside. This comes from the University of Arizona, as researchers found that loneliness and aloneness are not actually closely related. Older adults are particularly susceptible to feeling lonely when spending more than 75% of their time alone, while younger people may not feel lonely even when they are by themselves. The new smartphone app SocialBit is developed to measure social activity, of course, with potential to help stroke patients discover to recovery. And this was something there to keep people together. So part of the survey was done by SocialBit to kind of figure out the loneliness part, and for people who are alone, how to sort of get some togetherness. Now, your social media networking does not take the place of actual connectivity, which unfortunately, based on how you see that, is a good, bad thing. But people who are like to be alone often just like to be alone. And people who are feeling lonely have some underlying issues that just mean they are having issues communicating and feeling with each other, not so much being alone. But they have some similarities, but not necessarily correlative. Big word for this morning. Apologies for the day on the just crazy tiredness I am and the bad reading for the day. It's been a couple of long weeks, couple of long nights. We have a long string of things going on in the real world of stuff that must be done that I can't get out of. And so putting the time and effort into rest and recovery for this thing has been a bit pressing. So we're going to do our best to, portion out our time so we do more better stuff for you guys here. That's what's going on. Errors, many reading errors today, so that happened. Omission today. This is a story we're not doing, and I so want to do it, but I want to keep our family rating, so we're going to give you the headline and let you look for it for yourself. The headline reads, Prisoner sues Michigan Department of Corrections after having porn intercepted by guards. Let that sit for a minute. Let it marinate. Let it wash all over you in all its glory. Now that that's put in your head, go look for it because you're curious about it. It's a pretty interesting story. Go look for it. Do some research on your own. It was conversational, vetted as pretty popular, but we only get so many stories in the morning. And with that, let's get on to a story we can talk about coming on tomorrow. This is what could be one of our big stories. We call it a teaser story because we are teasing it to you guys to talk about. And this is a chance to talk about the feeds, how the stories get into the feeds and how the stories get into this show and other things we produce for the Conversation Project. And it's very simple. Go to Facebook and X or Twitter. Go to facebook.com/this is a Conversation Project and twitter.com or X/th_conversation. Those are our sites, our pages on those sites. And as you check out your regular stuff, we know we skew older, so you're still on Facebook and you hadn't left Twitter yet. You may be too socialing on the side, but you're still at the Twitter. And we still call it Twitter. Check out what we're providing for you as news links every 50 minutes or so on our sites, and engage in them, like them, love them, hate them, share them. The more you engage in a link, the more you engage in a story, the better chance we have of talking about that story the next day, or if it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the next iteration come Monday. This is a story that's a pretty interesting one. We talk a lot about AI being the bastion of evil coming up. Scarlett Johansson takes legal action against AI app that used her likeness. You've probably heard this story a few times with Scarlett Johansson. There's a lot of things going on with famous people who are being deep faked and AI being used to create pornography of them, which obviously is not them. She's taking to court a specific app to kind of fight the power in this one. Will it work? Will it not work? Will we talk about this one for your Friday edition of Things You Might Have Heard? Go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter and let me know what we're talking about. Literally, let me know what we're talking about. We'll make it work the best way we can. We're also going to work with getting out those next batches of promotional items, and we want you to get better by using PS Print. They're a fairly new sponsor to the Conversation Project, and we want you to get a great deal on them. Great deals going to our link at this is theconversationproject.com/PSPrint. This is theconversationproject.com/PSPrint. They are backed by Deluxe, the people who've been making checks for probably 100 years, to be honest. And they can get the job done. They can make sure you have all your items that you're looking for. Beautiful, guaranteed. Now they can do roll stickers for put in things. They can get your business cards taken care of. Booklets, print out full booklets, full design services for you to work with. You can call them up and get some of the design things from scratch with their help, or you can upload bits and pieces and make it work for yourself. If you need magnets, you need letterheads, you need memo pads, you need pocket folders, you need postcards, whatever you need, they can print it up and take care of it. And they have, as I said, design services to get you out of the work of being a designer, because you got things to do. You're a busy person. You got to run that business. You've got to take care of that nonprofit. Let the designers at PS Print design for you, because you're not a designer. You're a CEO. You're a boss man. You are a boss lady. You're a boss babe. You're a boss. Check out PS Print via our link at this. It's theconversationproject.com/PSPrint. This is theconversationproject.com/PSPrint, and help us out because it's an affiliate link. We get a little bit of commission for what you pay there. It costs you nothing extra. We're just a concierge, bring you in the door as a finder's fee. Let's talk about us, because it all comes down to it. It's about us, and us meaning the Conversation Project. This is theconversationproject.com is our home on the internets, where we provide for you various drops of news all day long in various cases. It is pretty fun to do, but it is a lot of, which is not grammatically correct, work to get it done for you. So we ask for a couple things. And it costs you nothing for these first two things. Follow us on the feeds on Facebook and Twitter and just engage in the stories. That puts the script together. That puts the words in my mouth to talk about. It costs you very little, but some time because you're already paying your internet bill. Go to your email, your internet bill already paid, and email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Give us some feedback on how we're doing every single day, as much as you want to. We listen to it, read it all, and we engage in most of it. Some of it is a little bit nasty. We've got to be honest. Some of it's a little mean, but we engage in it all. And if you want to go deeper into detail and really deeper into detail, go to our partnerships page and partner with us for greatness. We'll say greatness. We are looking for people to help us do more stuff, and you can help us out with that one. That one is a bit of an investment, time, and resources. So we thank anyone who wants to be a partner to get deeper with us on those things, and we appreciate any help you get. The free stuff, we want that to happen. The free stuff is awesome, to do as much of that as you can. In the meantime, we are very happy for any contributions you want to give our way to make things work out on the other end. So we've taken care of the news headlines, the reason why you're here, and sold you on a bunch of stuff, we hope. Let's get into some fun stuff for this morning, and that includes birthdays. Always start with birthdays. Today, Nelly is 49 years old on the day. Happy birthday to Nelly, a St. Louis native and a rapper extraordinaire. Also just pretty fly guy. And another reason that reminds you that you're getting much older, Nelly was essentially a staple of the 90s. It is, of course, 2023, and Nelly is still hitting hard for us Gen X folks. Everybody else, your music kind of sucks. I say that a lot because it does. Meantime, 2020, way back in 2020, Baby Shark by Pink Fong became the most watched video on YouTube with over 7.04 billion views. Baby Shark, which of course overtook Psy, I think at the time was still the #1 video at that time, which turned it into a into a cultural phenomenon, just, doing the Gundam style thing and doing whatever. But Baby Shark, the very infectious, very, very annoying song, and it's just the Pink Fong version of it, because of course Baby Shark had been a nursery rhyme-ish song for years prior, but the Pink Fong version of it became the biggest hit on YouTube, mostly for parents who were tired of the kids and just wanted them to shut up, playing a lot of Baby Shark, Baby Shark. And today is Deviled Egg Day. I don't know who came up with Deviled Egg Day, but guess what? They are winners in my book. There's no way, unless you're just like allergic to eggs or hate potato salad, that you cannot love some deviled eggs and Deviled Egg Day. National Deviled Egg Day features a favorite hors d'oeuvres, hors d'oeuvres, if you will, or side dish for parties, holidays, family reunions, and potluck dinners, or every random Tuesday. Deviled eggs shine as a star of the show each year on November the 2nd. So this is your official day to celebrate your deviled eggs, but you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait at all. Deviled eggs are great any day of the week. And since many of your delis have deviled eggs that are like ready to go and packaged to do it, you don't have to do the work yourself. Get yourself some deviled eggs today. Or as I like to say, today. And we're done for the news today. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for Thursday, the 2nd of November, 2023. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in your earballs, your eyeballs, your wherever, and give you some news headlines that some of them a little bit off the beaten path, some of them right straight down the middle, that gives you a bit of perspective that hopefully makes you think, makes you kind of enjoy and understand the nature of debate and just how crazy, insane we are as people to have so many crazy, insane people out there and not blowing the world up constantly. Because sometimes I wonder. Make sure you are stopping by our website for more details on how we do our things every single day. Make sure you are giving us feedback via email. Stop by the feeds to give me the stories. And check out the partnerships page if you think we're worthy of extra work. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task. Get a nap if you need a nap, because you have a long way to go in this life. We need you going forward. We've lost a lot of people in the last 2 weeks, essentially. Famous people, so a lot of people know them and love them on that level. But you may not be as famous, you may not be as known, but trust me, you're just as loved. And so you need to take care of yourself. Don't prematurely end yourself because you're overworking, overstressing. Yes, pot calling kettle black. Got it. Whatever. Hear you. We're all going to work on it together. Stay limber. Stay hydrated, stay on task. In the meantime, we have more news coming for you tomorrow for the Friday edition of the show, and more news coming for the weekend shows, and a Monday edition to give you more stories of the weekend. So we're not stopping. We're going to push through and kind of do our best to make it work. You make it work as well. We will see you, in some sense, tomorrow for the Friday edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard.